Let's talk about rituals, which the word can sound pretty loaded. It can sound like something that maybe cults do, or something that only happens in holy spaces, or can sound very heavy. But of course, a ritual is just something we make a habit of doing, something that happens repeatedly, as a pattern. Daily rituals, weekly rituals, and for that matter, it can be applicable to all kinds of areas of our lives, right? There's health rituals, productivity rituals, recovery rituals. It can be as simple as what you do in the mornings before work. It can be what you do at night when you're winding down for bed. And they form not only the background for our lives, but in a great way, they kind of also form our lives. At the end of the year, that tends to be what's going to be the most things that we've done, positive or negative, for our health, for our well-being, for our self-improvement, for our skills, for our career, whatever it may be, is primarily going to come down to rituals, as to the things that we've made a habit of doing repeatedly. So, as kind of a simple, obvious example, making these daily videos is a ritual for me. It's something which, when I do it, gives me a chance to kind of like reflect on some thoughts, share some things, connect with some people, and it's, like I say, a ritual. It's a thing which, because I've got a habit going for it, doesn't take as much effort or energy to spin up as when I used to do videos far more sporadically, maybe once every few months, maybe at random time frames. And when things are not really on some sort of ritual or pattern or schedule, every single time we do it takes an extra push of energy, to think of it like activation energy from chemistry, to get ourselves across the line of doing it. And at the end of the day, our willpower is very limited. Our energy that any given day we can deviate from our patterns takes a lot of effort, takes a lot out of us. And that same sort of willpower is depletable. Ego depletion is kind of a whole other subject or field, but it's got to do with this idea that any given day, our deviation from our habits is something which is in renewable but short supply. And this is part of the power of rituals, that once you build a habit around something, once you build a pattern around something, like we do in Genkido Club, so every single week, we're making progress on our games, making progress on our skills, it makes it easier to do, makes it easier to fit in time around, and maybe more importantly also allows you to start iterating on it. You can start improving it. If we thought of something like a morning reading ritual, which I had started many years ago and I think was helpful in some of my early career pivots, what was nice about having that ritual in place was that I didn't have to think about it, it didn't take additional effort to do, and the question became not when am I going to get myself to read, it became what am I going to read next? Because I knew I'd have steady steam towards finishing this, next or current book. It also meant that because I could iterate on it, I could experiment with making it a little bit longer. Because if I was going to already go to the work of carrying the book with me, getting to work early, sitting outside and reading, well, why not, get there an extra 5 or 10 minutes early? Why not see if I could read more pages in the same amount of time, or otherwise gave me something to tune on, tweak on, sort of with some distance. It's almost like it's automated once it becomes a ritual for us. And so that's all there is to today's thought. It's just thinking, reflecting on what are your rituals, whether it's weekly, whether it's daily. How are they positive or negative for you in terms of your health, your recovery, your personal development, your skills, whatever it is you're after. And that's all there is. I'd be curious to hear in the comments some of your personal rituals, ideally, again, especially things that either are you found have been positive for you in your personal health and your professional development or otherwise, and or if there's some rituals you're thinking of trying to pick up, trying to change, trying to improve. I know for a lot of us these might be health-oriented, but, could apply to anything. Thanks as always for tuning in.